All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final series of the SEA closed qualifier for the DreamLeague Season 13 Major. It is, of course, MLP Dota and John X Fire. John, we are here for the Battle of the Philippines, the Battle of the Birds, or rather the battle for the team logos. Very similar
God,
logos indeed. There's been a lot of talk in the chat about them. As a graphic designer, how do you feel about them?
It actually offends me to see such similar logos in one game. I am going to get very confused because I rely on looking at the team banners sometimes when I'm talking very quick, trying to parse some information. I will missay which team is which, for sure, 100%. Look at the birds, Mike! One just looks like it has its mouth open. It's the same, basically the same visual design at a glance, like if you're just moving very fast. So it's going to be a bit confusing, but I'm excited to see this match. TNC up against Cignal. Two Filipino orgs, one full Filipino team, up against the last major winners for the last slot to the majors. So TNC, they've got a lot to ride here. It would be a pretty weird look for the last major winners to drop into the minors instead. Even then, they'd still have to fight for that minor slot. And Cignal, they really want to go in there. These guys have not managed to get to a major yet. they got their shot a while ago. Cignal, they don't want to give up here, Mike.
No, of course not. They definitely don't. And John, I've got to give props to Cignal. They haven't first picked Gyro this time. So their odds are probably skyrocketing right now. They've gone for the Venom Mounter. TNC Predator, of course, starting off with the Vengeful Spirit and Lena pick. Very strong opening. Of course, we've seen what those two can do together. And there it is.
Cignal! What are you doing?
The
You're
madmen.
0 to 3 back to back.
The madmen don't care, John. They've lost their minds.
Why? All right. So in the last series, they won the. No. They won the first game, right? And then they lost the second game with a gyro. They lost the third game with a gyro. They're going to this game with a gyro.
Up against TNC.
Up against TNC. Now, to be fair, TNC, they're kind of gimping themselves here. They banned out the Drow and they banned out the DK themselves. So they're not going to have those really big superpowered heroes, but they're still playing against a Gyrocopter. They've got the Venge-Lena combination. Lena has really sick range with that Venge. If you're going to run her as a core, she's basically a pseudo-sniper as well. If she's going to be in down mid, farming up those items, the Venge, just a very stable support to have, just really strong at all points in the game. Cignal with a Venomancer should be able to apply some pressure on those lanes. They should be able to clear out those camps quite fast, along with that Gyrocopter, of course. It still leaves a lot up in the air here for Cignal. And TNC, they pick up the Murano, which you're really fond of running as well.
I would really like to see TNC on this Lena. They've already got the Venge with the bonus range aura. If they could get a Hurricane Pike or just a Dragon Lance, which is fine, and then there's that jungle item you can pick up that gives you plus 400 range, in conjunction with the Venge, how far away would she be hitting you from? I would love to see it if TNC could pull it off this game. The more ridiculous it gets, the better to me. I just love seeing the anarchy that goes on in these games.
Absolutely. I still want to see a sniper come out when you have the Venge. I think that's really the thing to look for, and then just give him all the jungle drops that gives range. The 400 range one is only on one hit, but it's still funny to see. It's like 400 more for one hit. You have a sniper, he has to toggle for one hit to be pretty far as well. I don't think we're going to see that, though, unfortunately enough. I'm pretty sure TNC's not going to be memeing this one, Mike. They've got something to prove here. They've got to win it.
They certainly do. Major spot still on the line for TNC Predator. The previous major winners. Obviously, they probably took a bit of a break after that major win. Probably didn't spend too much time in the new patch. Of course, there wasn't much time to spend. And so they've come into this close qualifier a bit somewhat behind. We're not, can't lie about that. Cignal Ultra go into the Undying now as well.
Oh boy!
I can feel your sadness coming out, John. You're a big fan of the Undying, but you don't like it in this patch.
Nah, I must have played a total of 140 games or so in Undying. That's with a pretty significant win rate, like around 74.
Are you a casual player or something? 140
Yeah, I just
games.
that's just funny. I mean, it's not much compared to like how many total games have you played, Mike? 3,000 games, 4,000 games. It's just a drop. But Undying this patch really odd. Ultimate is much better. Laning kit still kind of the same. He's just kind of strange. Like he can dominate lane in the right conditions. He will taper off. So we'll see whether or not Cignal can correct that. It's something they fell back to as well. And I don't think they've actually found too much success with it. They're probably just really comfy with a hero.
Certainly so. Of course, the Viper now coming out. We saw KP play that before, and it was a pretty rough game. They still seem to have confidence in the hero, and it is still a very potent hero to be up against for the side of Cignal. So there we have it. Cignal, though, fourth pick for them. They go for the Centaur. I like this pickup from Cignal Ultra. Just allows you to get in and out of those team fights. Going to make it a bit harder for TNC to catch them out. So the drafts are starting to round off well together.
They really are. That Centaur does give them a lot of ways to save their gyrocopter, to start these fights, to give them the initiation they need.
10 seconds remaining.
It is making me a bit concerned. It looks like a Venomancer Undying support duo. Possibly, unless they do something weird and run a Centaur support. I don't think so. Unless the last pick their support, which is really unlikely as well. So more than likely, we're seeing a Venomancer Undying support combination, which doesn't bode well with me. That does not sound like great synergy. On one hand, sure, you land all your spots on the Venomancer, you have the Tombstone up, no one can run away. Right? They're probably going to die because they're going to be slowed down to hell, and they just can't do anything until BKBs are out, of course. But it's just really hard to pull off that kind of support duo. It's just super greedy in terms of EXP. Any of these two heroes as support drop off, they're going to have a very hard time having impact in the game when their EXP curve isn't there. Really curious to see what Cignal does. Are they going to pick a support last? Because they could run the Veno down mid. The Gyro is safe, the Centaur off, pick their support last, and you are a bit better off when you get something that can relieve the pressure of a support Veno and a support Undying. Get something a bit more selfless that does allow you to have a true pause 5 and a pseudo core 4. I think that's perfectly fine. But we'll see whether or not Cignal does that. They only have a little bit left in reserve time for this last pick as well.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, they've got to think quick.
See predators turn.
All right, Ember Spirit will be the pickup.
Oh man. Okay. It's the Undying Venomancer support duo. Right. That is going to be hard.
Yeah.
Cignal, it's potent. Don't get me. The early game damage from these heroes are very strong. Both of them have to get EXP somewhere. You're not going to be running a trialing with Undying and Veno.
10 seconds
You can't.
remaining.
You just can't. These two heroes stuck at level 2 by 5,
5 seconds
not going to do
remaining.
much for you. So they're going to have to run dual lanes, and they have to ensure that these guys can still soak that EXP. I do like the Ember Spirit here, though. You don't have too much from TNC to really lock him down. Lina, unreliable stun. Same with Mirana, and Avenge you could just dodge. Oh, okay.
I can't say I'm mad about this, honestly, John. I've been waiting to see the anti-mage in this patch. Overall, I mean, it does seem good, right? You can break the distance with that gyro. Just use your Manta, get those illusions up, and just burst him down. Of course, the same for Jamesy. The Ember Spirit loves to be a mobile hero, but if you can just get in close and drain all that mana ASAP, suddenly Jamesy is kind of a non-factor. Overall, what are your thoughts on this anti-mage? Is it a good or a bad pick?
It's a really good pick. It's the same kind of thinking with Jamesy's Ember Spirit last pick. They don't have anything to keep down Gabby. They don't have very hard stuns. Gyrocopter, homing missile can kind of be dodged or at least delayed. Centaur Warrunner is pretty telegraphed as a stun. The best thing they have is really the chains from Ember Spirit, and Gabby could just dodge it out. You know, once the Manta style is there, he could just get out. So you don't have the best ways to keep Gabby in place, but at the same time, TNC doesn't have the best ways to keep Jamesy in place. So we'll see which side can keep that control up. It's going to be interesting. I believe the only team in the closed qualifiers to run that AM, and I believe I mentioned it earlier, was Fnatic. They did win. I mean, they have not lost the game. So you can certainly make that AM work. Going to be interesting to see how it progresses. The changes to Mana Break does mean that he is not as effective in early game harass, but he scales much better towards the late game, right? Because it was a fixed value before, not a percent of mana. So early game, it would do a lot of damage. It would really drain out that mana fast. Now it's just a fixed 5% at max level, which when you're right-clicking someone down, it's not going to completely wipe them. But as the game goes on, when mana pools go higher, that's still going to be 5%. So if the pool is high enough, you're still going to have that pretty good impact. In fact, better impact than 4. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not that will be a factor as this game goes on.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get the game started. Game number 1 of a best of 3 series between these two.
Doesn't it?
Good to see both these teams in high spirits going into this final decider series. A lot of pressure on either side. Cignal Ultra, I don't believe they've ever gotten to a major. So this will be a massive deal for them if they could pull off the victory. Of course, TNC, the previous major winners, don't want to get left out of the next major. So we'll see if they can pull off this win. John, do you mind translating? I have no idea what they're saying.
Oh, yeah. Lol. Give me a sec. Let me just scroll up. Bye.
30 seconds to battle.
James, he was asking for Dota Plus, right? And Gabby was like, okay, give us a slot. Give us the major slot. And Gabby's like, oh, you're acting all big and all.
I see.
Oh, God. Dota Plus for a major slot, that's not a very good deal, buddy. Don't take it.
I don't know, John. I don't know about that. Dota Plus is an expensive commodity to have. Bando. Gonna say hello to KP up at the top lane. He may have given his life away, though. Nando! KP gonna chase him down. Tim's is there as well. He verifies as well.
Yeah, that's,
There was no need for that verify. Like, fair enough, you're out of position, but surely you just understand you're dead.
Well, it's a rough start for Cignal, right? You don't want to lose your Gyrocopter like that off the bat. He needs to escalate. You've given KP a good start. We have not seen this guy get a good start in a long time. In fact, they get the arrow and Grims as well.
Tim's, he's on fire already. Not playing around this man. He's been pretty consistent throughout the whole qualifier. Just been playing excellent on that position 4 role. And of course, this game he's planning to step it up a notch. We'll have a quick look at the other lanes as well. Jamesy on that Ember Spirit up against Armel on the Lena. We've seen this before and it really doesn't favor the Ember. Armel can just harass from a mile away and there's not much Jamesy can do about it.
It's going to be a hard one for Jamesy. It's going to take him a few levels to really start contesting this. Armel can leverage that advantage. In fact, he already has 8-0 up against the Embers 3-0. It's a rough time.
Of course, up down to that bot lane, Van. Going to be up against Gabby and March. He will have the support of Eris there on the Veno. It's one of those annoying lanes for any melee core. You're going to play up against an anti-mage who just continuously just drains your mana away. And speaking of, Magic Missile will fly out. They shouldn't be able to kill Van. In fact, never mind, maybe they can. And they will. Gabby, he'll find the kill. Now Eris will be chased down. This will be the kill they don't find, but it doesn't really matter. They found the one they wanted.
Again, just Cignal not finding a way to stay stable in these lanes so far. And they're going to go again, Eris.
Getting pretty low. Gabby will think better of blinking in. He'll just hold out. Meanwhile, top, you look at Grims on that Undying. He's falling very, very low. Tim's does have leap charges, does have an arrow. Will rather just commit it on one of the jungle creeps instead. And he'll just follow Grims down. He doesn't really mind. Grims is low on mana, low on HP. He's going to have to make a trip back to the fountain or just kill himself off anyway. And it looks like he does intend of making the walk of shame.
Yeah, this is not the impact you're looking for from the early game of Cignal at all. Right? We talk about this kind of draft having to snowball from their strong early game.
Armel finds a solo pick-off onto Jamesy, who was just a bit out of position. And Armel just barely landing that last LSA, and well, now Nando's dead. Speaking of, March is fighting Eris down at the bot lane as well. I can't quite keep up with the camera work, John. But all 3 lanes going in the favor of TNC. They each find a kill.
Yeah, it's going really rough. I mean, 5-0. You're finding these solo kills left, right, and center. Cignal's laning phase is just falling apart. He should be stronger than this with the Undying, with a Venomancer. But it's really not going as planned here for Cignal. TNC just leveraging their, I suppose, experience and confidence up against this team quite well.
It's just, I mean, you look at KP on this Viper, he is just making their lives hellish up at this top lane. Just the constant poison attack spam. And look at Nando, his health, he just came back, it drops all the way down. But KP, are you going to dive? You are not. He doesn't even bother skilling up the Nether Toxin yet. He just wants to spam poison attacks, and I can't blame him. In fact, he brings out a clarity now. And this just isn't going to end for Nando. He wants to come back into the last hit. He's got no regen. You might be able to cancel off the clarity, but it may cost you your life if you do. And Nando thinks better of it. He just runs the other way.
He's gonna have a rough time escalating from here. He had to go for a 2-1 build. No levels in flak because he wanted to play kind of aggressive with his Undying, which means he's really not going to be clearing out these camps early on. I mean, he's going to rely on that Rocket Barrage rather than the flak. Still going to be a rough time progressing here for the top lane of Cignal.
I mean, James is committed to the jungle now on this Ember Spirit. He is not going back to lane, I don't think. Even if he does, Armel will probably just kill him off. He's a full level ahead. In fact, Armel's about to hit level 6, and once you've got that Laguna up, things become a lot harder if you are the Ember. Bot lane, though, they may be able to find March on the Venge, and it looks like they will. March gonna try and turn around and go after the Veno. Eris will find the kill, but there is a return kill. He does get the trade, but at the very least, Cignal Ultra will find their first kill of the game at that 5-minute mark.
It's a start, but if you take a look at the net worth gap, Mike, it's a 3k lead at 5 minutes in. For TNC, that's a massive lead at 5 minutes. Like, that's not something you see at all.
Nah, it is pretty huge. Well, I'm just trying to see what Cignal's up to. I mean, Nando's still on no HP. He may just die to these neutrals if he's not careful. Nando will salve up. Okay, just in the nick of time. Bot lane, March goes down, but Gabby finds Van on the Centaur and now just chases Eris. It won't be a kill onto Eris, but it's a core for a support trade. Gabby's going to go back to farming up on the AM. Looks like Eris is going to try and gale him up and slow him down. Gabby just kind of looks like he doesn't really care too much.
I don't reckon he does. He's level 5 at 6 minutes in. He's got a good amount of last hits, a good amount of kills. I don't think the pressure you want to see on an AM lane is coming out from Cignal so far. He's just going to go back, shrine up, go back in lane, maybe find a couple of kills once the support is back, and rinse and repeat.
Looking back over to mid, the T1's almost gone. It's deniable now for Jamesy, and he's going to try and force Armel out of the lane. Armel quite low on mana, so he can't really go for his LSA, Laguna, and Dragon Slave combination. Rather, he's just going to provide a bit of harassment towards Jamesy before he does back off, but Jamesy is going to be forced to deny this T1. In fact, Armel tries to go back for it. He won't quite be there in time, but at the very least for TNC, now there's no T1 mid-tower.
A tier 1 sub 7 minutes.
Tim's going to find the courier of Nando top lane, but they are going to try and chase him down. Homing missile will be there, but KP will also be there to protect. They will drop the tombstone. Grimm's feeling confident enough to keep chasing. Tims will leap away, though those zombies are chasing, but Tims will survive. And, well, I suppose you should just protect that tombstone, but KP's going to go clean it up, it looks like. Oh, at least Grimm's get the deny off.
It's a pretty massive commitment to try out the tombstone like that, though. It's a long cooldown. You don't have a huge mana pool, so that takes away from any of your harassment spells. You're not going to have too much left in the tank here for Grims.
It does seem very desperate from the side of Cignal Ultra right now. Like, they're just trying to find anything they can get. And you can't really blame them. They must understand how far behind they are already. Even Nando, like, you just look at him, he's back in the fountain now. Looks like KP was just attacking him again with that poison attack. And unfortunately for Nando, he is third last in net worth, John. 1.8k net worth. He's behind March. It's not much he can do, don't get me wrong, but it's just not a good sight to behold. At the very least, Jamesy does find Armel in the mid lane, and that's a massive pick-off for the Ember, finding an important kill onto the Lina. And if Jamesy can start the snowball in this Ember, he could buy enough time for this gyrocopter to get up and online. Meanwhile, though, bot lane, looks like they have found Eris once again. Gabby will just commit the mana void and find the kill. Van throws out the hoof stomp, but I wouldn't recommend sticking around. March has another stun. He'll throw it out now. Gabby, I doubt they'll keep chasing. But there is another rotation coming in from Armel. He's got Laguna up, so he really just requires an LSA to land. Van will salve up, but March, he's getting in range for that stun. And yeah, I think Van may just be dead now. Stun comes out, Armel with the follow-up, and he is gone. 9-3 now, 9 minutes in. So far, complete domination from TNC.
I don't see what Cignal's game plan is here. Like, they are trying to rotate heroes out. They still haven't found a pressure they want. They've left Nando alone up top against a Viper, and that's not a really good lane for Gyrocopter. His laning presence isn't as strong. There's no tier 1 up top left, so you really don't have any way of backing Nando up as well if he gets jumped, which looks like he is.
Yep, potentially. Tims doesn't even need to throw the arrow. He could just Moonlight Shadow and run in. He won't though, as Nando does disappear off the map. In fact, he will TP into the mid lane now, so he finds himself a wave to farm. Nando, this is all he can do. He just has to look around the map and see what he can get. But bot lane, Gabby getting low, but they will find him. Grims, nice soul rip to confirm the kill. And that is another important kill. It looks like Jamesy did rotate down to secure that with Van. Again, if they can just continue to do that, they could bring themselves back into this game.
Definitely. They will be able to take this tier 1 down bot as well, giving themselves some space to play around with. They've got one lane where they can confidently farm without worrying about the teleportations in too much.
It's like Gabby's actually going for that the old school Battle Fury build on the AM. That brings back some memories. Looks like he'll grab the treads now and go straight into the B Fury after that. Has himself a nice little broom handle as well. Bot lane. They are going to go onto the Ember though. Stampede is going to be there. Now the rotations from TNC. The swap from March, perfect though. Jamesy going to remnant back up the hill, but the arrow, Tims! What a prediction from the Mirana. And Eris going to get stunned up by Armel. And it's a double kill for the Lina. But man, Tims is on fire this game.
He definitely is, and that was really well executed all around from TNC. That was a deep dive for March from Cignal. They were trying to dive the Venge under the tier 2, knowing that the teleports were up, and it just doesn't pay off. In fact, it went so badly that Armel still has Laguna. He did not expend it there at all. You might be able to find another kill if you're not careful.
Certainly. Looks like Jamesy does have eyes on him. They do have an observer ward where Armel is, and they are starting to group up around Armel. It'll be another very nice kill if they can find him, though Nando drops a very early call down. Jamesy does get the chains off at least. Armel, can you juke yourself out of this one? TPs are coming in, the homing missile will connect, but March jumps in. Can he stop this? He definitely can with the stun, but now the tombstone. Armel still so low. LSA, he hits 3 of them. They still find the kill, though arrow from Tims. Can they turn this? It looks like they will not, as March does also go down. And Cignal Ultra find themselves 2 kills, but more importantly, they find Armel on the Lina, and they will take the outpost.
That is a pretty big win for Cignal, probably one of the most convincing wins they've had so far. It is a start of something. They are certainly starting to build up here. Fortunately enough, you had your 2 cores there to soak up the AoE stuff as well. So you have injected yourself with a bit of sign of life there. You do still want to build up here. TNC, they are playing really aggressive, so that was definitely a very optimistic move from them. It does look like they are pinging out the wards now. A lot of X marks coming out from Armel, so he knows something's up in that area, and we'll see whether or not Cignal can maintain this pretty decent vision game they have up top. They've got to maintain it elsewhere in the map, though. Once that's gone, or if ever TNC stops going up there, Cignal, they've got to keep an eye on the movements from TNC. They're just really aggressive so far. They understand that they've got a pretty good advantage, and they can really just apply that pressure to buy space for Gabby to farm up.
He's certainly getting there as well. Closer and closer to the Battle Fury now. Only needs the Demon Edge and the Void Stone. You'd imagine he probably will get it in maybe 3 to 4 minutes maximum for Gabby. And once that Battle Fury is up, the AM shenanigans begin. Force Grims getting some wards down deep into the jungle of TNC. Looks like TNC are just happy to sit back and relax for a bit. They're not too interested in pursuing while that Battle Fury is not up.
Denied.
Cignal will oblige though. I mean, they definitely need the space. Do have a pipe now coming out on the Centaur though, so they may feel more comfortable to smoke up or go for a gank attempt. It looks like they are going to try and go after Gabby in the mid lane. So Gabby has left the lane now and does go to the safety of his own jungle. Though no, he will return back into the mid lane. This could be an opening for Cignal. They'd have to do it very quickly though. And it looks like they won't take it either. They're going down bot. Though meanwhile, top lane, it looks like they have found the gyro. Still, they will not follow up.
Huh.
Perhaps expecting the rotations. Nando drops the call down and they take that as, uh-oh, we better get the hell out of here. TNC missed out on a very easy kill in the position 1 gyro.
That is pretty surprising from TNC. I think after that last fight went bad, they are kind of reeling in the aggression, trying not to overextend under any sort of TP area, which the tier 2 tower is, so not wanting to overextend too much. They don't have all of their forces up top. Would want a bit more information before they get that done, and it does look like Cignal is starting to pull out of that bot lane, although they have left Van to really just keep farming up here.
Oh, Van, pretty desperate for that Blink Dagger. He certainly will need it. Try and counter these team fights when they do come in. He's going to start forcing in that tier 2 bot tower as well. March is the only man there trying to defend. But you will see Grims pop up and again drop the tombstone. Looks like he will do it so he buys a bit of space for Van, but perhaps a little bit unnecessary. They won't have it now if they want to go into a team fight for the next minute or so. Gabby may get ganked here, surrounded, but they don't really have that blink yet to get the surprise stun off. Now KP will rotate in. They're not willing to allow the T1 to go down. Arrow will not land. And, well, there's the Battle Fury on Gabby now, so he's more than happy to just keep wasting as much time as possible, just keep farming up. But Jamesy gonna try and go after Gabby, gets the chains off. This could be dangerous though, Armel is there. He gets the Yules into the LSA, but no, a nice Sleight of Fist Remnant dodge. And that actually bought time for Cignal to take that T1 mid tower.
That's a pretty nice win there for Cignal. They have taken a lot of objectives off the map now. They've taken that tier 2 down bot, that tier 1 mid, and TNC does feel like they have slipped up a bit, giving away a lot of map control back to Cignal. That does allow them to pop back into this game. Less than around a 2k lead for TNC now over Cignal. But they are playing a farm game up against heroes that are also farming up decently. Look, Nando has not had the best of times. All things considered, he's just about 800 gold behind a free farm AM. That's not bad considering how hard of a lane Nando had.
That is true. It's impressive how fast he caught up. Van now also has the blink coming out on the Centaur, so they may find if they want to smoke up, and it looks like they are starting to group up for that smoke. And there it is, 5-man smoke coming in. I don't believe that was a vision, though it could have been close. Cignal. They're going to run into Gabby. That'd be a massive kill. Moonlight Shadow, they're already there, but they get the stun off, and they will burst Gabby down. Great play there from Cignal Ultra. They look for more now. They know that TNC is around the outpost on the east side of the map. Jamesy, Sleight of Fist, won't really connect on March, so he gets the magic missile. Now the LSA into the arrows, straight on this Ember. They burst him down. Van gets slowed up by the Viper, but now the Poison Nova comes out as well. It's not doing too much as well. 3-man LSA from Armel. Van getting low and should drop here. In fact, he does. And TNC look to punish even further. Nando's caught out. You can't TP underneath the outpost. It gives vision. And they could see him exactly through the tree line. And with that TNC, they lose the AM. They find 3 more for the cause. I say they're pretty happy about that.
They definitely are. One key thing that secured that kill at the start on the Centaur while he was running away was the fact that Armel, he had a Grove Bow and he had the vent around him. So his attack range was just ridiculous. He could keep orb walking even at a really dumb range. So the projectiles did land in the end, and it gave them that one kill on top of everything else.
Cignal Ultra, they group up again down to that bot lane. TNC are still around the area. Still most of their ultimates up. The only one missing is the Moonlight Shadow. Still, Cignal will take that outpost just before that 20-minute mark, and TNC do not want to contest. So XP will be split between both teams. Should be a 2-for-2 banner rune trade, as well as Gabby is already up at the top lane and he can just take the bounties for his team. Though in classic carry fashion, he refuses and would rather farm. Armel looking to buy a BKB. He'll have it up pretty darn soon as well. Almost has the goal to buy it outright. Nando, meanwhile, trying to finish off that Sergeant Yasha on the gyrocopter. And Jamesy is actually going for the Battle Fury build on the Ember Spirit. Something we haven't seen in a very long time.
That is a bit indicative that they are expecting to try to play this towards the late game. So pulling out of that emphasis on magic damage is pretty good if you're planning to go late. You also have to wonder about the effectiveness of a magic build up against an AM. That's really not going to pay off too well. You're not going to be able to burst that mean carry. So I suppose you might as well go physical.
Smoke is there from Cignal Ultra. They are going to run into Gabby, but it looks like Tims will be there to break the smoke, and he does, but Van has found the stun, so Tims should just be dead, though. He does get the Yules off, and that will allow the leap. He'll leap straight towards the Tombstone. They don't get the chains off, though. Soul Rip is nice, and the Remnant does come in from Jamesy. So Cignal, they do get something out of that smoke. Not only a hero kill, but it looks like they will confirm taking down that T1 top tower.
It's a good set of objectives coming out the way of Cignal. Once again, they are slowly chipping away at these objectives on the map. You know, they're keeping themselves in the game. They're not actually being run over by TNC. TNC is just having to take it slow because of their AM picture.
Cignal keeping down to the bot lane. Gabby will be alright for now. Just continue farming away. Gabby just trying to go into the Mantis style, and it looks like he wants to go for the Heart straight after that, though. Top lane, KP does get chained up on the Viper. Cignal, though, they will not attempt to pursue those kills. Again, Cignal just more than happy to just buy as much time for Nando. Like, as long as Nando's farming, they couldn't care less. And Nando, now that 10k net worth mark has finally caught up, we'll have the full Sergeant Yasha up soon, within maybe 1 or 2 minutes.
That's gonna be really helpful for Cignal. Just knowing that their gyrocopter is still maintaining farm parity with TNC. I think that is a point of concern for TNC. Normally, anti-mages do operate in a bit of item advantage compared to everyone else. Based off that farm speed and mobility, it's not quite there yet for Gabby. He's still escalating. He still has a couple items to build up. The Manta style is up, so he's going to be a bit safer from the disables that Cignal does have. He is still a very squishy target. Working towards his heart next, that should give him a lot more to play with.
They want to go for Armel on the leaner though. Armel going for the TP though, the hoof stomp fan. He predicts it perfectly. He can't even believe it himself. Though the LSA, he'll try and turn it around. Armel, BKBs now. Shadowblade? Does he actually get out? They drop detection. Armel, no. He didn't want to take the death, but hold on a minute. Top lane, John. Gabby going after the tier 3s now. Cignal. They will bring in Jamesy to defend, and it looks like that's all that's going to be required.
They're trying to get their own push going down bot as well. They've got 3 heroes here.
Is under attack. Illusion.
KP going to be there already. March will join in. That should be enough to force Cignal to back off, but it looks like they are still thinking about this. Jamesy, Remnant's in. He wants to go after KP. Mind you, KP doesn't have much help, but here comes Tims. Call down will be there, but there's the poison over as well. KP falling very low. March will swap him away from Jamesy. No heroes going down quite yet. In fact, Jamesy is not done. He wants to go for more. He does eventually back off, but Cignal Ultra find a tier 3 tower. Meanwhile, Gabby is ratting the top lane, and now TNC, they're going to try and punish March. Can he get in range for a swap?
Radiant's bottom barracks.
It looks like he probably will not, but Gabby is still going up at the top lane. He doesn't care. Buy him more time, they say. Now Armel TP's in, still chasing. The chains will be there from Jamesy, and that'll stop the chase. Or maybe it won't. Yules will be there at least on the Venomancer.
Radiant's bottom barracks.
And so Eris should be going down, and he will. They didn't quite manage to find that tier 3 either. Cignal made it in time to defend. And so now we find the Dire side actually ahead. They'll have the ability to take out shrines from the Radiant side. And this is just something I wasn't expecting, just based off what happened at the start of this game.
Definitely, it does look like Cignal is putting up quite the fight here. They can get stuff done if they play their cards right like this. TNC, they really are putting everything they have into Gabby. They trust in this guy a lot. They allow him to just split push like that, despite the fact that they've lost the tier 3. Fortunately enough for TNC, they still have 2 outer towers left, so the other towers can't be pushed out just yet. If they want to take that high ground, Cignal will have to focus only on the racks or take out those tier 2s down mid and top as well before taking anything else up there.
Radiant are slain.
Jamesy has the Battle Fury up, almost has the BKB up now. He's starting to get very, very scary on this Ember Spirit. Because like you mentioned before, he is building into that late game build, so you always have the backup of just going for Daedalus and Divines if you really want. Of course, we haven't had the pleasure of seeing a game go past 70 minutes yet, so we haven't seen any tier 5 items. Of course, I'm sure there's some ridiculous items that Ember Spirit could take advantage of if they did drag it out that far.
Yeah, that would be one to see. I'm not sure if I want to wish us to see a 17-minute game though, Mike. You gotta be careful with what you wish for there. Would you like Tinker in the next match along with...
John, don't you say that name. How
Tinker and Arpord.
No.
Opposite teams. Come on.
John, if it happens, sir, I will turn off the stream. I will send you your unemployment letter, and that'll be the end of that. TNC, Roshan is being taken. Roshan will go away for free. TNC will just go ahead and sneak it their way. Moonlight Shadow and just get the hell out.
You know, the net worth advantage that TNC had has really shrunk down. It's down to just 2k at 28 minutes in. They still have the lead. It's not as wide as you'd want, especially since you have an AM. It's almost like having an alchemist. You want an item advantage on this hero. You don't expect it to be that massive, but perhaps one 4k item ahead is really the bar, I'd say, for something like the AM at this point. And we're not quite there. Gabby's in the lead in terms of net worth, about 2k ahead, which is good. You'd want that to be a bit higher, just to make sure, like, say he has a heart before anyone else has a counter item, or he has his butterfly before the MKBs are up. That's really going to be the key thing that allows Gabby to be a menace in case he's ever jumped. It looks like he is much more happy to just kind of rat it out. Take it slow, farm up, apply pressure in lanes, and distract Cignal from getting any of their aggression down.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Nando. BKB forced out from Nando. That was his 10-second charge. He's going to go in now. He wants to make use of it. Call down will not land, and now Armel wants to switch it around as well, but the LSA does not connect, but another swap from March. But now Eris just forced stuffs out of there. Poison Sting being committed even. They're going to go for this fight now. Eris is gone immediately, and Van could be in trouble, but they get March on the bench. Now the Stampede, Laguna even flying out. They get the Tombstone down thanks to Gabby. The Ember, LSA, no, Jamesy, he'll BKB up, he just runs forward. He didn't have the slut, and then just remnants out.
Oh my god, this is one mess of a fight. Definitely TNC's fight. Like they are very happy with what they've gained there. They force out the BKBs. They found a support for a support, but they drain out all those big BKB charges. Really gonna be happy about that. It is just a 10-second to 9. So it's still gonna be a long charge for both sides, for both heroes, but you're not gonna be too happy about that first BKB use if you're Cignal.
Looking back over at Jamesy, it looks like he's going into a Desolator next, so just amplifying that damage build. Of course, we can't forget there's a Desolator level 2 now, if you get that far into the game. It's quite obnoxious, to say the least. It's like Nando's going to have a Satanic up soon by the looks of it. He just needs to pick up the Reaver. It's only a couple hundred gold away from that. So slowly but surely, this Gyrocopter is starting to look scarier and scarier. Still though, you look at Gabby now. He has a hard up, and you do have the Viper Ags coming out as well. So 10-second on the Viper Strike ultimate. And well, it looks like they found Van. Gabby blinks straight into him, breaks his smoke. Cignal, do you really want to fight this? TNC's right behind him in the smoke. They do jump in Van. He gets the hoof stomp off. The AM is way too tanky to burst down though. Gabby will just blink out of there. Now the call down, March, he could go down I suppose on the bench, but he'll force Staff out. So he should be able to at least find the support, but now Gabby jumps in onto Grims. He wants that Undying. Eris with the Poison Nova as well, but really nobody is dropping apart from March. But it looks like TNC do not want to borrow this team fight. In fact, they will lose KP on the Viper. The backlines, Mana Void was thrown out by Gabby. Jamesy is going to find KP eventually after that Helm of the Undying wears off. Gabby does manage to TP out, but Cignal Ultra once again winning a team fight. And why is that Undying running over the cliff?
Radiant are scanning.
Spider legs. All right.
I want to point something out from that last fight. It was pretty badly timed from TNC. Understandably, they just got the heart on their AM, but right when they forced it out, Nando already just picked up his Satanic. So even when they dropped him low, he just popped that on, popped his flat cannon on, and he wasn't dying, which caused major issues for TNC. They've got to tighten up the fights they take here because they are slipping a lot of ground to Cignal.
Yeah.
I mean, TNC is supposed to be a team that's on a different level in Southeast Asia. Cignal is looking pretty darn good up against these guys.
They sure are. They're going to go for more. Gabby, he just blinked. They will not initiate though.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Did have a haste rune anyway, so he probably would have been alright.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Jamesy, gonna remnant in. TNC aren't around to try and go after that Ember. He had plenty of help anyway. Like TNC are just trying to focus on farming up once again.
There is a smoke from Cignal, though.
They're feeling confident. Arrow to scout, but of course he won't go through the smoke. Now it's smoke on smoke, but there's a stampede, but they miss Armel, and now they run straight into TNC, but this could be bad for Cignal. LSA comes out, but no, it actually looks great for Cignal as Gabby jumps in. They got the Centaur, they found March on the vent. A 1-for-1 so far. Gabby just trying to take that tombstone out. Meanwhile, Jamesy finds Armel on the Lena and now is looking for more. KP will manage to TP out. No, the chains connects just barely. And he will Viper Strike from the grave. But Jamesy will be fine. He does find the Viper, and that's going to be another 3 heroes going down for the price of 1 for Cignal Ultra.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It looked really bad for Cignal when they missed their initiation. It didn't matter. They are really strong right now. They've got all their talents up. They've got all their items up and on their cores. TNC, what can they do about this? Armel is just getting picked off every single time. And they need him for damage and control. He's just not able to provide it anymore.
That's going to be the first Rax of the game going down. The range Rax is now gone. TNC going to try and defend. They don't have buybacks on KP or Armel. And the missile going back towards Nando. He'll have to take that. Tim's now doesn't connect with the arrow. Guiding Greaves will purge off the chains, but now March starting to fall low once again. Yeah, easy Rax. They just leave the base. No need to rush this. In fact, as they're running back, Fan will run past the double damage. Checks the Roshan, but there's still a minute till we find out when that's going to be up. But all is running very, very smoothly for this Dire side.
Definitely is. I mean, it looked like a rough start from that laning phase. It looked rough in that mid game, but right now, Cignal is ahead. They've taken the first set of racks. They've got a slight net worth advantage up against an AM. So most of that gold that TNC does have is on Gabby, and they are still slightly behind, slightly ahead every now and again. Pretty even is probably the best way to describe it, and that's not what you want to be seeing when you have an AM. You want to be ahead. You want this hero to be so far ahead that the net worth advantage is clearly on your side. That's not the case for TNC. They really have a couple of holes to plug in their fights. Their initiation is just not going well.
Another smoke. They made it slightly obvious the smoke was happening thanks to that cooldown of Nando. So instead, they are going to go for that top shrine. March will just kind of sneak past them.
Radiant's top shrine has fallen.
So, 1 shrine gone. In fact, make that 2, sorry. One of the bot jungle has gone a while ago.
Dire's bottom tower has
Jamesy is now building into a Daedalus, excuse me. And we'll have it pretty soon. Just needs about 600 gold.
It's gonna be a very scary Ember Spirit. I do prefer this kind of play coming out. It's much more fun to see. And we're at that point where a physical Ember really does start to take over a magical Ember, right? Like the emphasis on these item buildups, the fact that Jamesy has found that farm anyway, and will probably still keep escalating during his split push. It's just gonna make him a majorly hard factor to deal with, which just makes it that much harder for TNC to find any of these pickoffs that they were finding earlier on.
Viper Strike onto Nando. Of course, again, isn't an Aghanim Scepter Viper, so he can just afford to just spam those out. Eris now does have the Scythe of Vice, which is quite scary. That AM not going to be as safe. Because Gabby didn't go for a BKB, so he really has no way of avoiding it apart from perhaps the counter spell. But bot lane, looks like they have initiated March. We'll swap out KP, but KP is still going to be in trouble. He does manage to run out of range. So, Cignal, they'll take the final outer tower for TNC.
Radiant's top tower.
Roshan going to be up in about 45 seconds. So they can just wait out that Aegis before they try to push a high ground again.
Dire's bottom tower
Definitely, that is going to give them a lot more to play with as well. They would have to be a bit worried about the team fight that could break out. Although overall, I'd give Cignal a slight advantage actually in a tight area like that. They do have the Undying, the Tombstone's going to be a big part. The Gyrocopter enjoys it when people clump up. So does the Ember Spirit. The Centaur can get the control in that the team needs. And
Nando caught out. He BKB's up. Satanic popped as well. He's trying to just buy time for his team to help him out. Van, he'll run in. They couldn't quite kill him off in time. And now here comes Jamesy. It's going to be a lot of damage out of this Ember if they're not too careful. And it looks like they are at least going to end up finding KP once again on the Viper. Now Van looking for March. He will find him, but he cops a magic missile. But they found a pretty nice pickup in the Viper.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Gabby is still split pushing the bot lane, though he's trying to apply some sort of pressure to force them back.
Radiant's
And he's going to go back up to that top lane, go on for the tier 3, and he will be able to claim it.
Dire's top tower.
In fact, he might find the racks. They aren't going back. They're actually trying to find the mid-racks themselves. March swapping somebody out, but he's going to pay for it with his life. The buybacks fly out. Poison Nova committed as well. Now Gabby forgets about the racks. He wants to take the team fight. Jumping onto Van Nando though. He'll turn around and fight him. Jamesy, he's doing so much damage. They found the gyro though. The buybacks again flying out from the side of TNC. Jamesy falling lower and lower. Oh, Tims, he leaped into a sleight of fist. Now Gabby's still trying to find another target. He will find Grimps on the Undying. An absolute mess in the mid lane. TNC do manage to defend, I suppose. I wouldn't go as far as saying it was really in their favor. It was a lot of buybacks being expended, though.
Definitely so. It's not the cleanest fights coming out from TNC. At the very least, they still hold on to their one set of racks. So you're probably going to be very happy about that. They didn't manage to get any significant damage done to those top set of racks on Cignal's side, though. But we are starting to see Gabby really come in line. I would like to see a defensive item up on him. He is going for an Abyssal first, but I think once you give him something like a BKB to play around with, you are going to be a bit happier. You're going to be much safer when you jump in. You basically negate the entirety of their control, and you can just be right in the middle of everyone perfectly fine.
Gabby's going to be scouted at that Roshan pit. Viper Strike onto Eris is going to cop a fair bit of damage out of that. Roshan, are they going to fight? Jamesy could go for a steal. We'll scan out the Roshan HP again, but it is very, very low. There's a Stampede fan. He gets the Hoof Stomp off. Swap out from March. Roshan down. Where's the Aegis? Gabby's picked it up just in the nick of time. They're going to lose March on the Venge, but can they punish Eris? He'll get the Sight Device off on the AM, but there's no follow-up damage to it. Van, he's dropping as well. The Centaur's gone now. They found the Ember with the bash, but Gabby, he's out of position. He'll blink out once again. Now KP gets chained up. The TP cancelled off. And it looks like they'll lose the Viper. But at the very least, they did manage to pick up the Aegis onto Gabby. They weren't able to steal it on the side of Cignal Ultra. Still though, with two heroes with no buyback available, Cignal are going to rush straight through mid.
It's going to be a very hard defense for TNC here. They definitely need all their tools here to get that going. They do get the Abyssal up on Gabby, so he could leverage that in his next fight.
I don't know how effective it's going to be if they get Megged. Arrow, Nando almost takes it. There goes that secondary racks. They go straight for the third. Though, there's that Abyssal coming in. He jumps straight on the Ember, but Jamesy does not go down. Now the Hoof Stomp. The AM's in trouble. Where's the Sight Device? He used it previously. Looks like Gabby will be able to blink away. Arrow does land onto Nando. They are going to lose this final set of racks, but Gabby is trying to protect himself from Megas. He gets stunned up again, though. Still no BKB, and now the Hex comes out. Gabby can't afford to die, and he will still manage to blink away. The TNC have been Mega'd. The game just gets a hell of a lot harder now for this Radiant side.
Oh boy, it's going to be very hard to fight up against this. Of course, it's always hard playing up against Megas. TNC, you would expect them to be a team that can make that happen. We are starting to see the higher tier drops coming in now as well. So that could really help the cause here for TNC, help out in these fights. They have a lot of ground to recover though. They are so far behind in terms of map control. Net worth is still looking okay. It's a 2k advantage for Cignal, which is pretty bad for TNC because most of their gold is just riding on Gabby anyway. But if they can somehow get a few good drops, and looks like Gabby is actually queuing up the Divine, honestly, I'm not sure about that. Like, he has no defensive items, besides, I guess, the Manta, if you want to call it that, and a Heart. But he has nothing to stop himself from being stun locked.
But what other option do you have,
issue.
right?
That's fair enough. You're at the point in the game where the damage is really lacking. So the Divine does make sense. It just doesn't feel great to be forced to buy that.
But he needs a True Strike as well, like, up against the Gyro. So, I mean, we can understand. I agree with you, though. It's definitely not the position you want to be in. The True Strike is going to help it go up against Nando's Butterfly, as Gabby doesn't really have an MKB or anything like that. It's rough. It's certainly rough for TNC. But they are holding on for now. Now a Nullifier, though, will come out from Eris. There's that Willis Shaco showing up, so someone's getting plus 1,000 health from the side of TNC. I like the fact that they gave KP that Timeless Relic, so he has a longer debuff duration. Work well with the Viper Strike.
Definitely. It does give him a bit more utility as well. I mean, basically, he's just there to debuff. Almost like a Venomancer at this point in the game. Except I believe Eris just has a bit more utility with her item build. But they're just doing the same thing. Throw out all your spells before you die. Make sure a lot of people are ticking down, and that's basically it.
Another Witless Shaco. He dropped the Cignal this time around. They will at least find some Dire Shrines while they're up top. Gabby's still holding on to that gold. He needs to save for buyback as well. What item do you even replace for that Divine? Like, are you just going to have to wait out that Aegis, I guess?
More than likely. It's probably going to have to be the Aegis. I don't see them ditching anything else. Maybe the Battle Fury? You could make a case that it's outrun its usefulness. Especially compared to the Divine, but I'm not sure. It really depends on Gabby at this point. It does feel like he's going to be on the edge here. Once he buys that, he won't have buyback.
But they've got a mini Hex now as well. Princess Knife is going to be on Tim, so 1.5 second Hex on that first attack. I guess it's another way of controlling up either the Ember or Nando on that Gyro.
Alright, it does look like Gabby switched out. They are going for an MKB instead.
I mean, I guess it still works, but I mean, if you
I was kind of into the all-in. You know, it's like the damage is still lacking, even with True Strike. You just don't have the hitters. Armel's Lina is not kitted out for right-click damage yet. It's all still focusing on that magical kit, and it's just not enough anymore. Especially when you take a look at the HPs on Cignal's side. That's a 5k HP Centaur. That's a 3k HP Undying, who gets more strength as the fight drags out. You're not going to burst these heroes down.
Certainly true.
Oh, KP.
Jumping in, they found KP. March again saving the Viper. He's still caught out though. Stampede there as well. They really want to kill KP off, and they do. If they find anything else, it looks like they will find March on the Venge. Well, now the buyback immediately out from KP. March will go down. He has his own buyback, but it looks like Cignal are ready to try and finish off this game. Gabby, who's he jumped on? He goes straight after Grimswamp the Undying. So there's one hero gone. He'll buy back, but now Eris gets the Hex off into the Hoof Swap. They don't have the follow-up damage yet, though. Eris commits the Poison Nova. Gabby still trying to fight the backlines. Now the swap from March onto Nando puts him out of position. They'll find the kill. It's a big pickup for the side of TNC. And this should stop the push attempt coming out from Cignal. March, this game has been so on point, John. How many swaps has he made to save his teammates? And just that one swap alone does make it so they stop this this ancient push that was coming from Cignal Ultra.
Oh, it's really good plays from March that are stalling out these fights, and the fact that Gabby can now hit stuff with his MKB is certainly helping. Like, he's actually pumping out some damage on these enemy cores. We are probably going to reach that point where a couple of heroes will hit that level 30. It looks like Gabby is set to be the first one, slowly inching towards that 29. And then up next, we would have Jamesy. So that's going to be a massive spike for both heroes when it does come out. And it's going to be interesting to see that in play here. Actually, we have not seen that happen just yet.
No, we certainly haven't. Grims has a Hex up as well on the Undying, by the way. So, two-side device, although Armel is going to spot him out. Grims will just blink away and then just casually runs through the ditch. Now the Stampede, so he just keeps running over cliffs. And Grims lives. These spider legs look like a pretty curious kind of item.
They're kind of funny. Like, they do
certainly
replace boots. They do count as boots, apparently. But I think they're pretty good. Like, 24% move speed, 30% turn rate is actually super undervalued. I think a lot of people never notice turn rate until you're playing against Bad Rider.
Well, Roshan John jumping in a bit too early, though. Van will manage to get out, but he doesn't have Stampede or Blink available. Gabby just going to keep going, but Van does jump in again. March, he'll swap him out. There's the Aegis. Who picks it up, though? It's still on the deck. Nando, he runs in, but Tim's the one to pick up the Aegis. Now they are dropping low to Nando on this gyrocopter. Gabby can't afford to die. He does get away in the nick of time, but they lost KP, they lost March, and they're going to lose that Aegis on Tim's. No buybacks on either March or KP. Tim's, he does have one. He'll use it immediately. Gabby will buy a BKB now. Gets rid of the Battle Fury. It's a long time coming. He jumps in straight away onto that Venom, but the Venom manages to survive. No, Laguna. It will burst him down, but Armel needs to get the hell out of there. Gabby trying to hold them back and save his Lina. Now the Ancient is almost exposed. The tier 4s are so darn low, but Gabby trying to go after Jamesy. Moonlight Shadow will be there. Still Cignal moving forward. They almost find the dieback on Tim, and they do. Mana Void, though, will end up finding the Ember, but he buys back immediately, and now Nando falling very, very low to Gabby, but they find Armel and Melina. He'll buy back as well. Gabby, you cannot afford to die like this. He's getting perma-stunned up. He's muted as well, but he turns around and man fights. It's not going to be enough, though. He dies, but he'll buy back. Now the Ancient, half HP, blinks straight back in. Nando so darn low. Grims as well, almost about to die, but they want the kill onto Armel, and the Ancient is gone. Oh my. What an ending to the game. 50 minutes in, John, it does end, and for the first time today, the gyrocopter works. There you have it.
Of all teams to make the gyrocopter work for us, it's Cignal Ultra up against TNC. I don't know what to say.
You know what that means, John. We're probably going to see it again in Game 2.
Oh, God. God help. I mean, look, it worked. I can't blame them anymore if they're going to pick it up again. It worked. Oh.
Well, TNC, one loss away from being kicked out of this major qualifier, and more importantly, Cignal Ultra, a team that just kind of came out of nowhere, John, one game away from qualifying for their first major. In fact, I dare say their first DPC event, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I'd have to verify, but I believe it would be their first DPC. I'm not sure if they ever made it to a minor. I don't think so. So yeah, probably their first DPC if they do go through. A major at that, and a win over TNC. I mean, that is one way to boost morale.
Certainly is. It's definitely a confidence booster, but they've still got to win one more time. TNC certainly not going to make it easy going into game number 2. Of course, we'll be there very, very soon. It should be about 10 to 15 minutes before that next game starts. It is MLP Dota and Dronix Fire. We'll see you all very, very soon for that second game.